This is Paul Slatk. It's Good News Planet. I'm speaking to Tony Lo Bianco. Hi, Tony. How are you?
I'm great.
You are great. Tony and I talked just a couple minutes before we started recording, and the first thing out of Tony's mouth was that he's going to be over here, and our studios are in Brooklyn, and was I guess born in Brooklyn or lived some time here. But the first thing out of Tony's mouth was, we're going to be out there in Brooklyn on August 4th at a veterans event. Myself, Connie Stevens, gave a lot of wonderful people who are do-gooders, who care. Tony Lo Bianco is an outstanding human being. I'm going to start off with that, Tony. I got to say it, because your humanitarian efforts and work with the Police Society, Man of the Year, New Jersey Lifetime Award with the Columbus Day Parade, that is ingrained, it seems, in your soul. How come?
Well, listen, I think it's every human being's job, as far as I'm concerned. I don't even like to call it a job, because it's something that you are supposed to do. I guess I live by the golden rule, which is do unto others as you would have others do unto you. And also you have to help people who have sacrificed their life and put their total being in the way of violence and so on, and is out there to protect us. That's the fire department, that's the police department, and that's, of course, and most importantly, it's the armed forces who go over there or go at beck and call to protect us from the people that want to do us harm. So it's imperative to me to give back to those people and make sure that they are rewarded for their service. You can't. All those three services. I mean, if you think what a policeman makes, for what he does and what he sacrifices, because you say, well, he's got a job, he's getting paid. Well, he's getting paid. You know how much a policeman gets paid? They had not so long ago. They were getting $25,000 a year. Now, who can live on $25,000 a year? That's number one. But number two, look what you're asking them to do. Now I think it's $35,000. Big deal, and it's like an honorable profession. And then the soldier volunteers in his life basically to protect you. So when they come back, when they come back wounded and missing arms and legs, you and me and everybody has got to show them our love and show them that we care for them and we appreciate everything that they've done. That is just, to me, normal, and I mean, it shouldn't even be a thought. That's what you do, because that's common sense and logic, and I'm all about common sense and logic, and also trying to learn very much from history. We're not inventing the wheel here. We should be the smartest people that ever existed, because we have all those fantastic geniuses who had nothing to build on. They go back to Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci and so on. I mean, what history did they have to build on? Not much, and they turn into geniuses. And it's always my belief that hardship and hard work make you a person where you invent things out of necessity. You have to do that, and I think it's the same issue about how much do you want to give financially someone so that they don't become dependent on your giving too. So it's a balance. Those people that I'm talking about all worked for it and all did something for it, and I'm all for work fair. If you fall on hard times. So people will take care of you. But you got to work some too. You just can't sit around and not do anything for us, because then you just become dependent on Big Brother to take care of you, and that we don't want. It doesn't help our democracy, doesn't help our republic, and doesn't help the whole country.
We had a mayor some years ago, Fiorello LaGuardia, and I believe you have, I would say, probably an admiration for this gentleman.
Well, I do, because he embodied everything that was good in a human being. This is Fiorello LaGuardia, who was mayor of New York City from 1934 to 1945. In fact, I'm doing a play in October 23rd to November 2nd at the Capo Theater, which is on 76th Street and Lexington Avenue in New York City. It has been my show, so to speak. I've been doing it off and on in different places for a very long time, only because the message and what kind of example this man is something that we should all look at again. Again, it's history, learning from history. He's a fellow that was born in this country as a young boy back in 1882. His father, they struggled and so on. He's a man who's a self-made man. He learned to speak 8 different languages.
Really? Cool.
And brought himself up. Went to night school, became a lawyer, all from the ground up, and then ran for congressman for 14 years, and then became the mayor of New York City for 3 terms. And cleaned up the city, did everything that you want to be done. He balanced the budget in the first 6 months. He threw out all the bad guys, and he said, "This is something that I wish every candidate that's running for office would say." He said, and I have this in my play, "If I don't live up to my campaign promises, I want you to throw me the hell out of office." Now, to me, that's the way, and that's what I think people expect. Because right now we have a very, very low opinion of the Congress and the Senate and the presidency and what have you. Very low opinion of what's going on and what's not going on. Basically, we have that of our news papers, and unfortunately, it's creeped in to every part of. Can you hold on one second?
Let me mention to the audience while you're taking a second here. Tony is a serious actor. There's no doubt about it. You won an Off-Broadway Obie Award, the Yanks, 3, Detroit 0. You won a Tony for the portrayal of Eddie Carbone and Arthur Miller's A View from the Bridge. You also won the Outer Critic Circle Award for this performance. And let's not forget a zillion movies, including The French Connection.
Yeah, The French Connection was something. And, it was a 5 Academy Award for that movie. It was my second movie, too. So I was fortunate to do my first movie, which was The Honeymoon Killers, which is a cult classic and one of the best films that I enjoyed it because it was made for very little money. And it was, the actresses in that movie are extraordinary and wonderful. And it was made for
let's broadcast it on Good News.
Yeah, okay. Anyway.
That's what we do, Tony.
Oh, good. But, the essence of Fiorello LaGuardia it's almost like an example of what we should all follow, because he was a man who sacrificed himself and giving to others, doing for others. He and that shouldn't. I don't mean that in a way of handouts and giving people what we do now. Right? Unfortunately, now it's become a way of life. The unemployment idea back then that was put in was for 16 weeks, and it was a temporary situation. It wasn't a life thing. Right now it's 99 weeks, and I am sure whatever they're getting now, whether it's 400, I don't know what unemployment is, but obviously that's being supplemented by some kind of off the books jobs that somebody's doing, and using that as a as a base pay. And it certainly was never meant to be that. It was supposed to be a temporary 16 weeks of just, getting them through their search for a job. So anyway, and he talks about that. And one of the most interesting quotes came from Franklin Roosevelt, who talked about that being a situation where that might become like a narcotic, where people will lose their spirit and their ability to use it as a crutch, and rather than using it as a substitute thing that they've got to go get something, they've got to go do something, But anyway, but I also he said at the and if I have a moment, I'll just read something that's in the play that I happen to like very much. He says here, let me see where it is. Says here, he said, "My friends, we are a nation of immigrants. So what do we owe our ancestors for their sacrifice? Sacrifice of ourselves for others and our country. So I want you to look all around you. Look left, look right, and see your fellow man with respect, understanding, kindness, and love, and know you are completing the dream." So
I love it, Tony. I love it. That's his a mantra, actually.
That's right.
I'm gonna put that up on Good News, that along with this interview and everything else. The
name of the play is The Little Flower, which means Fiorello. Fiorello LaGuardia. It's a life of Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia.
Was that a name they gave him?
Yeah, but yes, his real name is Fiorello. Yes, and it translates into the little flower.
Okay.
Yeah.
He bloomed. They named the airport off the guy.
Well, he wasn't just named it. He and Robert Moses did everything that you and I and your listeners are enjoying. The airport is something that he came up with the design and the idea. Not only that airport, but the international airport, JFK, which is now called JFK.
Right.
Those plans were all in place while he was mayor. So it's not just something they named like they do with the Robert Kennedy now and at Koch. They just give them a name. But he created it.
Create it.
He did. He created it and designed it. And let me see if I'm trying to get another thing that he did. That was here. He says, where is it? He says here. I'm sorry. It's a little.
It's okay.
Yeah. Okay. In this play, I talk about bringing your children up, how to your children. He said they asked me what about juvenile delinquency, and he says juvenile delinquency. Your children have to be taught good manners and sound morals. I don't know many juvenile delinquents who have good manners. Do you? All those cute little things. And then he says things like, thanks to Moses, we've given you 14 public housing developments, 15 outdoor swimming pools, 25 hospitals, 95 new schools, 340 new playgrounds, 360 tennis courts, redoing the zoo in Central Park, and the Belt Parkway and the Marine Parkway in Brooklyn, the Bronx Whitestone Bridge, the Triborough Bridge, the Reese Park Bridge in Queens, the Queens Midtown Tunnel,
How many
Tunnel,
How
and don't forget the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, the East River Drive, the West Side Highway, the Henry Hudson Parkway, and the Grand Central Parkway. Why, when all our work is finished, driving your own car in New York City will become a pleasure.
Well, he was a mayor for, is this right, 11 years?
Excuse me? 12 years he was mayor.
34 to 45?
34, yeah. 39 to 45, yeah.
Wow.
And also, you say, wow, how can you accomplish that much in that short time? As we know, the Empire State Building went up in 14 months.
Actually, I didn't know that fact. Okay.
The Empire State Building was built in 14 months. Think about these things. That's when people worked. People knew how to do things, and I just visited the Empire State Building the other day. I took my grandchildren, and the idea of these guys walking on the beams way the heck up there, and the way they put the rivets in, they would heat them up there, then throw them to somebody who'd catch them like in a funnel, and then he'd pass them on to somebody. The guy would take the rivet, put it in, and bang it with a hammer as he was sitting on a rail up there.
Yeah.
And they just there were different human beings there, and I think we have to get back to people that are Renaissance people. Get back and do it. Get back and stop complaining. Stop using all this kind of psychological, politically correct nonsense that is just destroying our country, destroying the human fabric. You know, it's all deteriorating from a point of view where we don't dance together anymore. We don't even shake hands much anymore. We either pump fist or slap hands. We don't do anything that has anything to do with intimacy, especially with computer taking over people's life and the television. We're just isolated from the human experience of really getting to know people and sewing and trying to really communicate in a natural way, not in some kind of a psychological or politically correct way where everybody stops.
I hear you, Tony. Let me ask you one last question at this moment.
Sure.
Best of luck and congratulations, and we'll get everybody we can to come on down and see you. In October, we'll put this story up now, but we'll also, highlight it during that time and let our whole community know.
Sure. Shall we give that the name of the show and the place once more time?
Please do.
Which is A Little Flower. It's a story about Fiorello LaGuardia. It's at the Di Capo Theater, which is on East 76th Street and Lexington Avenue. You can go, if you want tickets, you can go to www.tonylobianco.com, and you'll get all the information, tonylobianco.com. And you'll get all the information of where to buy tickets, smart tickets, and all that jazz that you need to know. Okay?
A lot of great restaurants up there. 2nd Avenue Deli moved up that way.
Oh, great.
A lot of great places.
And
Tony, my last...
Yeah, I will send you that stuff. I will send you the information about where Connie Stevens is, who's from Brooklyn girl, as you know.
Right, I do know that.
Yeah, and she's celebrating her birthday with the veterans, and we're going to all be there.
That's a beautiful thing. My last question is this, Tony. What's good news for you?
Good news is that I'm doing this play and trying to get the message out for the people, and so all we have to do is just keep our eye on the ball and remember what we have to do in November. That's good news.
All right, Tony. Thanks so much for sharing good news with us.
Okay, my friend.
Thank you.
So much.
All righty. Bye-bye.